Have you ever looked in the mirror and felt like you used to look better? Like there was a time when getting dressed felt exciting, not like just another task on your to-do list? Let me tell you something important. It's not because you're getting older. It's because somewhere along the way, you stopped seeing yourself as someone worth dressing up for. But that changes today. In this video, we're diving into something that goes far beyond fashion. We're talking about presence, confidence, and the subtle power of how you carry yourself, starting with the clothes you wear. I'm going to share with you 10 common style habits that might be quietly undermining your elegance. And more importantly, I'll show you how to replace them with timeless, graceful alternatives that reflect the woman you truly are. If you're ready to feel more put together, more confident, and more in control, without chasing trends or pretending to be someone you're not, then you're in the right place. Let's begin. 1. Wrinkled clothing, the silent killer of elegance. Let's start with something subtle, but incredibly powerful: wrinkled clothing. It's the silent killer of elegance. You could be wearing the most beautiful dress, the most flattering blouse, or the perfect pair of pants. But if they're wrinkled, all that magic disappears in an instant. It's not about the brand, the cut, or even the color. It's about the message your clothes are sending without saying a single word. You see, elegance is never loud. It whispers. It speaks through details, through care, and through quiet self-respect. Wrinkled clothes tell the world that you were too rushed to notice, or worse, that you didn't think it mattered. And if you don't think it matters, why should anyone else? Now, this isn't about being perfect or polished 100% of the time. Life happens. But there's a huge difference between an honest crease from sitting in the car and pulling something out of the laundry basket and calling it good enough. Wrinkles say, "I gave up." Pressed clothes say, "I showed up." The truth is, ironing or steaming your clothes isn't about vanity. It's about value. It's a small act that reminds you every morning that how you present yourself still matters, not just to the world, but to you. And when you take that time, even just 5 extra minutes, you walk taller. You feel sharper. And people notice, even if they can't quite put their finger on why. So if you're holding on to that old excuse that no one cares, let me gently challenge you. You care, and that's what makes all the difference. 2. Outdated handbags. What your purse says about you. Let's talk about something many women overlook: the state of your handbag. More than just a functional item, your purse is an extension of your presence. It walks into the room before you speak, and whether you realize it or not, it makes an impression. So ask yourself, is your handbag enhancing your image or quietly dragging it down? Scuffed leather, frayed straps, sagging shapes, and faded colors don't just look tired, they make you look tired. Even the most elegant outfit can be brought down by a bag that looks like it's seen better days. And no, it doesn't need to be designer or expensive. What it does need to be is intentional. Clean, structured, and well cared for. You wouldn't show up to an important event with shoes that are falling apart. So why treat your handbag any differently? This isn't about chasing trends or labels. It's about treating your everyday items with the same level of respect that you want the world to give you. When you carry a handbag that's in good condition, polished, subtle, purposeful, it tells people that you take yourself seriously, that you care. And believe it or not, people do notice. They may not remember the brand, but they'll remember the impression. So if that favorite old bag has served its time, it might be time to let it go, or at least give it a proper refresh. Because your purse isn't just holding your belongings, it's holding part of your story. And that story should say, "I'm still here, I still care, and I'm worth showing up for." 3. Casual t-shirts. When comfort replaces intention. There's nothing wrong with comfort, but when it comes at the cost of presentation, it's time to reassess. Let's talk about the casual t-shirt. Yes, it's easy. Yes, it's everywhere. But when worn out into the world as your go-to top, it often says more about convenience than confidence. Think about it. How do you feel when you slip on a soft, structured blouse, or a lightweight sweater that hugs just right? Compare that to a stretched-out tee, faded from dozens of washes, with no shape and no story. Which one lifts your mood? Which one helps you walk into a room feeling composed? This isn't about being dressy for the sake of it. It's about choosing intention over autopilot. A well-made blouse in a neutral tone can be just as comfortable as your favorite t-shirt. But it also communicates effort, style, and self-respect. And for those of you thinking, but it's just a quick trip to the store, let me ask you this. Have you ever bumped into someone unexpectedly when you felt totally underdressed? That sinking feeling of not being seen the way you want to be remembered, that matters. Because we don't dress for the rare moments. We dress for the everyday moments that matter more than we think. So keep your t-shirts for gardening or relaxing at home. But when you step out into the world, let your clothing reflect your presence, your power, and your pride. You deserve to be seen as the woman you are, not the one who settled for good enough that morning. 4. Playful prints. Why it's time to retire the cartoons. Let's talk about prints, specifically the ones with cartoon characters, animals wearing sunglasses, or slogans in glittery fonts. They may be fun, they may be cute, and yes, they may even bring a smile. But let's be honest. Do they reflect the woman you are today, or the girl you used to be? Wearing a hoodie with Mickey Mouse or pajama pants covered in dancing cats might seem harmless. But clothing communicates. And what playful, juvenile prints often communicate is a resistance to maturity. They suggest nostalgia, maybe even a need for comfort. But they don't say elegance. Now, this isn't about erasing joy or personality from your wardrobe. On the contrary, elegance doesn't mean dull or boring. It means choosing prints that lift your energy without lowering your image. Think subtle florals, classic stripes, herringbone, or even abstract patterns in muted tones. These say, "I'm joyful and present," not, "I'm stuck in a college dorm." Your wardrobe should celebrate who you are becoming, not cling to who you were. Especially in loungewear or casual clothes, opt for fabrics and patterns that reflect growth, confidence, and quiet power. Because even when no one is watching, how you dress shapes how you feel. So the next time you reach for that sweatshirt with a talking banana or your flamingo pajamas, pause and ask yourself, is this item cheering me on or holding me back? 5. Cheap crop tops. When trends diminish, not define your style. Let's talk about crop tops, and not the chic, tailored kind. I mean the ones made from thin, clingy fabric, cut too short, and designed to chase teenage trends. These kinds of tops don't enhance your image, they diminish it. The problem isn't the crop top itself. It's the quality, the context, and the message it sends. Fast fashion versions of crop tops often scream temporary. Temporary trend, temporary fit, temporary confidence. And the truth is, when a piece of clothing doesn't respect your body or your age, it ends up disrespecting your presence. That doesn't mean mature women can't show a little skin or experiment with style. In fact, a high-waisted pant paired with a beautifully structured cropped blouse can be incredibly chic. But it must be done with intention. Fabric matters. Fit matters. And above all, how you feel in it matters. Elegance isn't about covering up everything. It's about knowing what to reveal, what to keep subtle, and how to balance grace with personal expression. When your clothing choices are thoughtful, you don't have to try so hard to make an impact. Your energy does it for you. So the next time you're tempted by that $10 trend piece that kind of fits, pause. Invest instead in clothing that fits your life, your values, and your body today. Not who you were 20 years ago, and not what the fashion machine tells you is in right now, because elegance never goes out of style, and neither do you. 6. Grunge revival. Not every trend deserves a comeback. Let's talk about a trend that keeps trying to make a comeback. 90s grunge. Think oversized flannels, ripped tights, combat boots, chokers, the look of rebellion, angst, and I don't care. And while it might feel nostalgic, here's the honest truth. Just because something is trending again doesn't mean it deserves a place in your wardrobe today. The grunge look was born from a moment in time. It had an energy, a message, a cultural purpose. But that energy, raw, messy, unfiltered, doesn't translate into elegance. In fact, it fights against it. Because elegance isn't about rebellion. It's about refinement. It's not about screaming for attention. It's about commanding respect through quiet confidence. Now, that doesn't mean your style has to be stiff or overly polished. But there's a big difference between dressing casually and dressing carelessly. Grunge often celebrates the undone, the ripped, the slouched. But you've evolved. You've lived. You've earned your presence. Your clothing should reflect that. So instead of revisiting fashion that belonged to your college years or your daughters, consider what represents you now. Neutrals that flow, structure that flatters, fabrics that move with grace rather than shout with trend. You don't need to dress like everyone else to be stylish. In fact, the most elegant women set their own standard, quietly, clearly, and confidently. Because elegance doesn't chase, it leads. And you, my dear, have nothing left to prove. 7. Ripped jeans, when fashion forgets refinement. Let's be honest, ripped jeans are everywhere. They're trendy, edgy, and for some people, a fashion staple. But let me ask you this. When was the last time you saw someone in ripped jeans and thought, wow, she looks incredibly elegant? Probably never. And that's because there's nothing inherently graceful about holes in your clothing, no matter how expensive or intentional those rips may be. Even when they come with a designer label, they still project a certain carelessness. And that's not the energy you want when you're stepping into your power. Now, this isn't about rejecting denim altogether. Denim can absolutely be elegant when it's clean, structured, and fits like it was made for you. A pair of dark, well-fitted jeans with no distressing? That's timeless. That's polished. That says you understand your body, your style, and your worth. Think of it this way. Ripped jeans might still be appropriate for a concert, a weekend with teenagers, or maybe cleaning out the garage. But when you're heading to brunch, to the store, to a casual meeting, those slashes and threads don't just expose your knees. They expose a lack of attention. And elegance, above all, is about attention to detail. So if you've been holding on to that one pair of ripped jeans because they still kind of work, it might be time to upgrade. Because you don't have to look torn to feel relaxed. You can be casual and composed. Comfort and style don't have to compete. When you choose wisely, they walk hand in hand. 8. Ultra-short shorts. When convenience compromises class. Let's talk about shorts. Specifically, ultra-short denim shorts, the kind with frayed hems, high cuts, and barely there coverage. Yes, they're easy to throw on. Yes, they're common in the summer. But no, they do not align with grace or refinement. There's a misconception that elegance requires discomfort or formality. It doesn't. You can absolutely dress for warm weather and still maintain poise. The key is proportion, structure, and intention. When shorts are too tight or too revealing, they stop looking like a choice and start looking like a leftover from teenage trends. Now, this isn't about shaming anyone for their body. It's about owning your presence. There's nothing more captivating than a woman who dresses like she respects herself, and ultra-short shorts often send the opposite message. They can suggest you're trying to hold on to a version of yourself that's long since evolved. So what's the alternative? Tailored mid-length shorts in crisp fabrics like linen or cotton. High-waisted cuts that flatter your shape without clinging. Neutral tones that feel effortless yet elevated. These choices say, I'm relaxed, but I haven't let go of myself. The goal isn't to cover up. The goal is to show up as the best, most confident version of you. And sometimes all it takes is an extra 2 inches of fabric to completely change how you feel and how the world sees you. 9. Bandage dresses, when tightness replaces taste. Ah, the bandage dress. Once the go-to uniform for glamorous nights out, it's tight, body-hugging, and undeniably attention-grabbing. But here's the truth. Attention and admiration are not the same thing, and elegance doesn't chase either. Wearing something that clings to every curve might have felt empowering at one point. But as we grow, we start to realize that real beauty doesn't need to shout. In fact, it rarely does. True elegance is subtle. It knows that suggestion is more powerful than exposure. A bandage dress tells the world, look at my body. But an elegant outfit tells the world, look at my presence. There's a huge difference. One demands the spotlight. The other becomes it, naturally. This isn't about covering up or dressing conservatively. It's about dressing intentionally. You can still feel confident, feminine, and beautiful in clothing that glides rather than squeezes. Dresses that skim the silhouette, flatter the shape, and leave room for movement don't just look better. They feel better. And when you feel better, you are better. You speak with more authority. You walk with more ease. You radiate something deeper than style. Self-respect. So if you're holding on to that bandage dress, just in case, it might be time to let it go. Not because you can't wear it, but because you no longer need to. There's a different kind of power in clothing that honors your evolution, not your old wardrobe. 10. Activewear in public, when comfort crosses the line. Let's talk about something that's quietly become the new uniform for millions of women. Activewear worn everywhere. Yoga pants at the grocery store, sports bras under cardigans, gym sneakers paired with handbags. And let's be clear, there's nothing wrong with being comfortable. But when activewear becomes your default outfit for everyday life, you're sending a message, whether you mean to or not. That message isn't, I'm relaxed. It's, I've stopped showing up for myself. We wear activewear to move, to sweat, to push our bodies. It's built for performance, not presence. So when you wear it out to lunch, to run errands, or to meet a friend, you're shrinking your own sense of occasion. It's like saying, today doesn't matter enough for me to get dressed. And over time, that attitude wears down more than your appearance. It chips away at your self-image. And here's what's truly important. You don't have to trade comfort for elegance. You can have both. You can wear wide-leg cotton trousers that breathe just as well as leggings, but look intentional. You can wear a soft, jersey knit dress that slips on in seconds, but makes you feel pulled together. Pair it with flats and a simple necklace, and suddenly you're not invisible. You're radiant. Because people do notice. The bar is so low these days, showing up in something other than stretchy black pants already sets you apart. And even if no one else said a word, you would feel the difference. When you dress with care, even casually, you speak a language of self-respect. You move through the world with more energy, more purpose, more pride. So ask yourself, Am I dressing to survive the day or to honor it? One says, let's just get through this. The other says, I'm here and I matter. And you do. Every day is worth showing up for, even the ones with grocery lists and doctor's appointments. So let your clothes rise to the level of your life, not fall to the convenience of your laundry basket. Here's what I hope you take away from all of this. Elegance isn't about perfection. It's not about expensive labels, high heels, or looking like you walked out of a magazine. Elegance is a daily decision, a quiet commitment, a reflection of how much you value yourself. Today, not 10 years ago, not someday when you lose weight or have more time. The truth is, the way you dress is often the first thing people notice, but more importantly, it's the first thing you feel. And when your clothes say, I respect myself, everything about your energy changes. You carry yourself differently. You speak with more clarity. You move with more purpose. You become magnetic without saying a word. So maybe today is the day you finally let go of the ripped jeans, the tired old bag, or the leggings you've been living in. And maybe it's the day you try on something new. Not just a piece of clothing, but a new standard for how you show up in your own life. Because you deserve to be seen, not for your age, your size, or what's trendy, but for your presence, for your grace, for the woman you've become. If this message resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, share it with a friend who needs that little reminder, and most importantly, leave a comment below. I want to hear from you. Which one of these habits are you ready to let go of? Or maybe, what's one thing you've added to your style that made you feel more like you? You're not alone on this journey. This is a community of women who are not just aging, we're evolving, and we're doing it with style, intention, and elegance. One choice at a time.